Good afternoon, Sage reporting live from Kalkine Studio, and it's lunchtime here in Sydney and time for the Mid-Market Pulse. In today's show, we'll take a look at the overall Australian share market's performance by the mid-session trade. We'll also explore the biggest winners and losers of the day, such as Orica, Codan, Beach Energy, Gold Road Resources, Chalice Mining and others. Lastly, we'll focus on stocks such as Simic, Pro Medicus, Marquee Resources, Bright Star Resources, Energy One and many more that have grabbed the headlines today. So let's get started. And the Australian shares have extended their losses in the mid-session trading as concerns about China's looming economic crisis, as well as the rising COVID-19 cases in the country, triggered a sharp correction in the equity market. And the market witnessed absolute carnage as investor sentiments were spooked by concerns about the rising inflation and the uncertainty surrounding debt-ridden Chinese real estate giant Evergrande. The announcements from the US Federal Reserve that economic stimulus provided during the pandemic also added negativity in the market. And the benchmark index, the ASX 200, nosedived 2.06% by lunch. The index opened lower today and declined as much as 2.3% during the day's trade so far. And in the overnight trade, Wall Street suffered its worst day since March as the Delta virus threat painted a gloomy picture for the economy, which kept investors away from risky bets. And the S&P 500 fell 1.19%, while the Dow Jones dropped 1.59%. The Nasdaq Composite Index ended 0.44% lower. Back home on the sectoral front, all the 11 sectoral indices were bleeding in the red, and the financial sector was the worst performer with a 3% loss, with all major 4 banks trading in the red. The financial sector was followed by A-REITs and consumer discretionary, which fell over 2% each. And among others, materials, healthcare, industrials, energy, telecom, tech sectors all also saw huge surges in selling. And on the COVID-19 front, New South Wales reported 864 new local coronavirus cases and 15 deaths in the past 24 hours. Victoria's daily case tally continued to outnumber New South Wales for the 4th consecutive day, and the state recorded 1,143 cases and 3 deaths on Friday. And meanwhile, Prime Minister Scott Morrison is expected to make an announcement today about the international border, suggesting we might learn when it will reopen. In our next segment, let's focus on the top gainers and losers by the mid-session trade. And the top loser on the ASX pack was Australia's largest pizza chain, Domino's Pizza Enterprises, with a 6% loss. Some of the other worst performers were English Bank, Virgin Money UK, plumbing waterworks business Reece, miner Mineral Resources and financial services firm Hub24. On the gaining side, gold miner Silver Lake Resources was the top performer with a 3.5% gain. Gold stocks dominated the gainers chart, with likes of Northern Star Resources, Evolution Mining and St Barbara, as investors shifted to safer assets like gold amid the economic uncertainty. On this note, let's now move on to the stocks that grabbed the headlines today. And shares of engineering services company Simic were down 0.7%, even after its group's firm secured $297 million Australian dollar contract. The company's arm UGL has bagged a contract to design, manufacture and supply new fuel-efficient diesel-electric locomotives for its long-standing client, Pacific National. The contract will be valid for 7 years, and it is expected to solidify UGL's position as Australia's only manufacturer of freight locomotives. The C44 Evolution locomotives will be the most technologically advanced, fuel-efficient and environmentally compatible diesel-electric locomotives in Australia and will be designed and manufactured in Newcastle of New South Wales. Shares of Pro Medicus were trading marginally lower after it inked a $40 million Australian dollar contract with Novant Health. The health imaging company informed its shareholders this morning that its wholly owned US subsidiary Visage Imaging has signed a 7-year contract with Novant Health Inc. And the contract will see the company's Visage 7 enterprise imaging platform and Visage 7 workflow module implemented throughout Novant Health, providing a unified diagnostic imaging platform across the network. And now we've reached the time for a short break, but stay tuned on Kalkine TV. I'll be back with more trending market updates.
there, James Preston for Kalkine TV. Are you into gaming and virtual reality? Does AI and the endless possibilities it entails capture your interest? Or are you constantly trawling through the web to try and discover the latest updates and innovations in the tech space? Well, let us do the work for you. From the latest product launches to shocking affairs on the World Wide Web, exclusive interviews and information about the top companies like Apple and Google to brand new tech startups vying for your attention. Kalkine's Tech Beat has the latest in what matters in the world of technology. Join me every single Thursday on the Tech Beat, exclusive to Kalkine TV.
Welcome back. Sage here live from Sydney. You're watching the mid-market commentary by Kalkine TV. And let us look now at some more of the stocks that grabbed the market's attention today. Brightstar Resources shares rose a percentage after it completed an oversubscribed capital raise of 2.3 million Australian dollars. It has received firm commitments from sophisticated investors to subscribe for a placement of around 87 million equity shares in the company at an issue price of 2.7 cents per share. The company said that it is well funded to continue exploration efforts at its Laverton Gold project. Energy One, a supplier of software products and services, has entered into a share purchase agreement to acquire 100% stake in EGS SIS NV, a company incorporated in Belgium. Established in 2008, the EGS SIS, pronounced EGSIS, business has been developed by its founders to be a significant provider of energy scheduling and nomination software and associated trading services to European gas and power market participants. And Energy One purchased EGSIS for Australian $6.8 million to be paid in cash and equity in instalments over an 18-month period. The acquisition will be funded from the existing cash reserves and debt facilities. The later cash instalments will be funded internally from cash flow. Mosaic Brands shares dropped 3.5% after Mosaic Brands, a women's fashion retailer, unveiled plans to acquire the remaining 49.9% stake in an online fashion retailer, Easy Buy. And MOZ purchased a 50.1% stake in New Zealand e-commerce operation Easy Buy late in 2019 for just $1 Australian. And the full purchase of Easy Buy will close to double the group's annual online sales to 218 million Australian dollars. Excluding Easy Buy, group sales for the last financial year contributed 19% of revenue. Combined, this will grow to approximately 30% of total group revenue. Shares of Playside Studios also made the news, rising 2.6% after the Aussie video games developer acquired the Dumb Ways to Die franchise from Metro Trains Melbourne. It will acquire all DWTD assets, including the copyright trademarks, merchandise, domain names, social media accounts and software. The deal involves a cash consideration of 2.25 million Australian dollars, which represents 1.5 times DWTD's financial year 21's revenue. The acquisition will be funded from Playside's existing cash reserves and will be immediately accretive to earnings and EPS. And the Dumb Ways to Die YouTube channel has had over 420 million views and over 7 billion game sessions played with nearly 400 million app downloads. Vimy Resources said in an exchange filing this morning that it has received a nod for the Mulga Rock mining proposal. And the company has received approval from the West Australian Department of Mines, Industry Regulation and Safety for the Mulga Rock mining proposal and associated mine closure plan on 29 September 21. This approval authorises Vimy to commence development and operation of the Mulga Rock project, including vegetation clearing, stockpiling of topsoil, excavation of overburden and construction of overburden landforms. Ainsworth Game Technology has appointed Harold Newman as the company's Chief Executive Officer, subject to the completion of all necessary regulatory approvals, and Newman's appointment commenced on the 1st of October 2021. The company has also appointed David Bollison as Chief Product Officer effective 7th October 21. And thanks for your company on the report. That's a wrap in the show, but keep watching Kalkine TV for more trending market updates from the Australian market and around the world. Sage signing off.